if you're a high net worth individual and you're not taking a proactive hand and protecting your digital identity, you're in for a bad time.
Especially if you're having an affair.
Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover the 5 most interesting data breaches from this last week and one of our favorite bourbons. I'm Steve.
Nicole.
Howdy, I'm Shu.
Nikki.
This is Miguel.
Our first topic, Signal booby traps its own encrypted messaging app to hack its hackers. Signal was able to exploit holes in Cellebrite's code to execute its own software on Windows computers used by Cellebrite. Quoted, there are virtually no limits on the code that can be executed. This was said by Signal CEO Moxie Marlinspoke. You guys are huge advocates of Signal. What do you guys think about the story?
I'm fine with it. I appreciate their proactive security measures.
So I read the in-depth blog post by Signal and I found it fascinating. They basically got access to this company's private reverse engineering iPhone delocking software. Did anyone see that?
Yeah, I read that blog post.
So they said it fell off a truck, but we all know it happened. And so they go through all of that private proprietary software. And I just loved every part of it. And yes, great. Every app should be booby trapping itself to prevent exploitation.
Yeah, what's really cool about this story is that the technical details is that they found a way to basically poison any data that Cellebrite scans for. So, and they highly insinuated in the blog post that they've added that already to the Signal app. So this is going to be like a nightmare for law enforcement, right? Because anyone that scans a phone, you can say, well, Signal's on it, and Signal is messing with these Cellebrite data. It's pretty amazing.
That's great. Like, we didn't even ask Signal. Like, think of this. This is a free app that not only provides end-to-end encryption, it also fucks with any attempts to scrape data from your phone.
Yeah.
Like, do they also save orphans in their spare time? Like, this is the best you could ask for from an entirely free service.
One interesting conspiracy theory note that's going on in my head. So March 29th, Signal was served with the grand jury subpoena from some district court in California to turn over data. And of course, Signal erases all the data, so there's only so much that they probably can't comply with the subpoena. This report comes out just a few days ago. I wonder if it's related.
Do you think it's a hidden message, like what that one company did, where they?
But this is very typical of hackers, right? You have, or just corporate world in general. I have this tool, I'm going to use it. And the second party goes, oh yeah, well, I have this tool, I'm going to escalate it. Maybe it's a revenge thing for Signal. Don't know.
So there was a famous app that was a privacy app, and they were served with some sort of secret subpoena, and they put like a release out, like killing the app, and they had a hidden message in it saying something like, we've been compromised, in Latin. And I feel like this is the opposite. I feel like this is Signal saying we're gonna fight this, which I think is great. I'm a big advocate for personal privacy, and if we have companies like Signal, like scramble everyone's phone. They said they're going to download random files and just put them in random places. Great, wonderful.
Is Cellebrite one of those kind of off-the-shelf tech that I think we covered in a previous episode, where schools were buying it so they could break into students' phones? Is this one of those?
Probably, yeah.
I don't think it's off the shelf. I think it's one of those things that's really expensive, a very customized service app. I don't know if it was in that LA school district story. I can't remember if it was. But Cellbrite's interesting because I know that for a long time, they were assumed to be the company that broke into the San Bernardino terrorist phones. And as of a couple of weeks ago, it turns out that they weren't, but many in the community assumed it was Cellbrite.
Yeah, that's tough because you understand the need for law enforcement to try to gather evidence, but also we're not going to do that at the sake of privacy. And so everyone should download and make use of Signal.
Use Signal, it's great.
Although sometimes I want to encrypt my encrypted data before I put it into Signal. I wish I could do that.
This is very reassuring because actually, well, I'm gonna be honest. I use WhatsApp a lot more than I use Signal because in here, yeah, but I need to go with the trends, you know. In here in Argentina, nobody really uses Signal.
Well, WhatsApp is popular, but it is not encrypted and it's Facebook. So that's two
Yeah.
strikes.
Yeah, it's definitely not reassuring, but it's either that or just to talk to you guys.
Yeah. Well, we use Signal for phone calls. It's wonderful. Great call quality. The app, you have to like restart the app every time you want to do a phone call, but whatever, it's fine.
Really, I don't get those problems in my computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, the call quality is great. I mean, on par with Skype or any other of those tools we use.
I think it's better than Skype in terms of encrypted calling. Skype encrypted calling was always so annoying. Like
It takes so much time to set up.
We'd have to make a new encrypted chat each time to like re-encrypt the call. It was stupid.
So topic number 2 we'll be covering is from Threat Post. Headline reads, Oscar bait, literally. Hackers abuse nominated films for phishing and malware. In the hopes of watching an Oscar-nominated movie, users visited a site where they were shown the first few minutes of a film before they were asked to register to continue watching. During the registration, to confirm region of residence, the victim was asked to enter their bank card details. After some time, money was debited from the card, and as expected, the films did not continue to play. Real bummer.
Shocked.
And I thought the nominees themselves were depressing, but this is it turns out that it goes even lower. Like that's tough. Who wants to see Nomadland so bad that they're willing to punch in their credit card details 15 minutes into a movie?
That is surprising. Why would you, if you're on a sketchy site, which we all have been on a sketchy site to watch a movie, why would you then give it real credit card information? You can just go directly to Hulu and be like, hey Hulu, you made Nomadland, here's my money.
Use some regular site like Hulu, Amazon, Apple, Netflix. Don't use the sketchy site. You'll have to jump around to find out where these movies are, but generally the big real legitimate players will have movies. So
yeah, you know how the big legitimate players like to start content and then suddenly stop it right in the middle and ask you for payment then. You know what they do. I think movie theater should start doing that. They should let you into the movie, sit down, give you a snack, start playing it, and then see who wants to stay.
They do. They're like, sir, you can't eat hot dogs in here. Sir, you have to leave. It's a ripoff.
It's time for a bourbon break.
He says as he's drinking bourbon. For this week, we have a favorite, Evan Williams single barrel vintage. So I am drinking barrel number 99. There you go. This is an unopened bottle. So I'm going to open it right now. Oof. And then I'll do a quick tasting. and then we'll talk a little bit about this bourbon. So I absolutely love this bourbon by Evan Williams because it just punches above its weight. I mean, Evan Williams, people see it all the time. They think maybe it's a bargain brand. But this is a single barrel that's been aged for the last 7 to 8 years. And it's just incredibly smooth. This is a wonderful sipping bourbon with a really low price tag. I think I got it for $25 to $27. To get this type of flavor from a single barrel is great. It's sweet. It's not overpowering. There may be a little wheat in it, a little malt, getting some rye. We can look at the mash bill in a second, but just drinking this, get a little rye spice, maybe get a little oak, maybe a little honey, medium finish, just a light, wonderful sipping bourbon. We've covered this one before, and 20 episodes in, it's still a great bourbon. If you're looking for an entry bourbon, I highly recommend this. So to talk about them real quick. This is a Heaven Hill brand. I know we've covered a few different Heaven Hill brands and people have strong opinions about Heaven Hill. Shu, do you like Heaven Hill?
Not really.
There you go. Strong opinions.
Beautiful distillery, beautiful visitor center. A lot of fun to visit.
We have Heaven Hill Distillery. It is in Bardstown, Kentucky, right next to Willett. So there you go. Get a 2-for-1 special and then walk home. Beautiful distillery. It's got some great brands. Obviously, Elijah Craig does a lot of advertising. I've seen this McKenna that's advertised all over the place. Looks like a lot of fun. Larceny, which we've featured before. That's a great wheated bourbon. Quick rundown of this one. So they did the 2011 at Breaking Bourbon. We are doing the 2013 because that's what's available. Aged 7 to 8 years, corn, rye, and malted barley. So no wheat in there, but the malted barley gives it a very similar taste as the wheat. And what they say, they said that everyday bourbon. No, that's not what they said. Bourbon everyone should have on their shelf. So that's a ringing endorsement. They got 3 out of 5 barrels. I'm giving it 7 out of 10 hacks. So you can do the conversion there. Caramel, vanilla, oak, caramel, and then cinnamon toast crunch, which I'm going to call bullshit on. So that's what we're drinking this week. Cheers.
Stumbling on to topic number 3 from the Daily Mail. Computer hacker who exposed plans for a European Super League faces up to 25 years in Portuguese prison for revealing club's financial secrets. Rui Pinto, a football fan who campaigned against corporate greed in the upper echelons of the game, is on trial in Portugal for revealing the financial secrets of elite clubs. He's 32 years old, so he's looking a lot of time, but he created a Football League's website, and they're basically saying that he was attempting extortion for hacking into the systems of some of Europe's top leagues. Mm-hmm. But his allies describe him as a whistleblower who has leaked 70 million documents exposing backroom deals, including a leak in November 2018 revealing the plans spearheaded by Real Madrid president Florentino Perez for the European Super League. Fascinating story.
He'll be out by the time Ronaldo retires.
This is the dumbest hacker I've heard of. Like, there's a reason Snowden is in Russia, right? Like, we all know what happens to whistleblowers. They don't last terribly long because whistleblowing is not always legal in your country. Yeah, this seems like a very silly story. There's the leak sites. There's WikiLeaks, right? Like, why would you make your own website to leak shit? Why wouldn't you just go with any of the other anonymous leak sites that you could use?
Because that was the line in the article there. That was the differentiating factor. They allege that he extorted. And it's one thing. Snowden has supporters. Snowden has people rallying for him and supporting him. The problem with this, but as far as I know, Snowden never tried to extort anyone. This guy tried to extort people. That's why he's in jail for 20, 30 some odd years.
He's in jail for 20, 30 some odd years because he pissed off the wrong people.
He's
And
in
that's
jail, yeah, for several decades because he built his own leak site. Like, look, if you're going to hack someone and then make your own website registered in your name, like what happens next is on you.
If you rob a jewelry store, you don't set up another jewelry store right next to,
Yeah, set up a kiosk in front with the same jewelry,
Right, you
like
fenced-
Bob's Jewelry. Hey,
you
it's
fenced
half
that
price,
shit.
just as good.
I would still argue if he just leaked the data, it would be a different ballgame. True, he probably would be prosecuted, sentenced for something, but not 25 years or whatever. I think the extortion is what is the thing that's adding a bunch of.
I'm gonna try to provide a different angle here because we are now in my realm in the soccer.
Yes. Let's talk
as you
about
would
soccer.
call it.
And extortion, soccer and extortion.
Soccer and extortion.
My two favorite topics. I mean, I deal with those daily. So actually here, I don't know if you guys were aware, but there was like a big argument between Florentino Perez, which is the dude from Real Madrid. I think he's the president or something. And he felt at some point that the Champions League, which is like the most important soccer/football tournament in Europe and arguably the world, probably barring the World Cup, maybe that's more important. But even if that's more important, the Champions League, it's like the second most important tournament. And Florentino Perez and some other guys from England, I think Newcastle, Manchester, and some other like huge teams in Europe, decided that the UEFA was not paying them enough. So they decided they were going to build like a parallel league, that they were not going to compete in the Champions League anymore. And that lasted, I think, 1 week since it was announced. They already, all of them decided to back down. But I'm saying this because maybe this guy that actually had that information felt that he was doing like some sort of favor to the sport itself. I'm thinking it might have been due to that, which of course also can be translated as stupidity. But I think it's more from that area that the guy was thinking, yeah, I'm going to be the hero that saves football or supports the people that are trying to do better for football, soccer.
Moving on to topic number 4, we'll actually be jumping into a hack cache of what was posted onto the Happy blog. So ReEvil had posted to their Happy blog, search Treehouse Hotels. If you want your data to be stolen, then just stay at this hotel. All data posted with permission from Mr. Hatrick, the security manager, as they do not care about the personal data of their guests, which, well, they just really singled out that guy. We'll look at their website, treehousehotels.com. It's very inviting. They have things sprouting, as you can see. Anyways, what do you guys have to add on to this developing situation? This is a lot like SEPA. Remember that insurance company out of California where they outed that director?
Yeah.
Just completely eviscerated them for like a week.
So obviously feel bad for the hotel and anyone that stays there because your information's in the hands of ReEvil and we know what they do. I mean, if you get called out directly by ReEvil, welcome to being infamous. That's a special, you're in an elite club. This hotel is interesting because Not on my radar. Maybe it's a big thing in London. Looks nice. I'd stay at it, but maybe under an assumed name.
Yeah, this is it's interesting because we're getting funny ReEvil back again, because for a while they were kind of just all business, and now we're getting funny ReEvil again. And also this highlights an issue here. You're right. This is not a hotel chain. This is a hotel with one hotel, potentially two in the future, but it's a small company, and they were targeted.
Makes you wonder why. Was it an opportunity of convenience, crime of convenience? Was it targeted? I have a theory that ReEvil has at least two different writers of disclosures. One is the funny one, we all know him, but one is at least a serious one. Like ReEvil had 5 hacks this last week or more. 4 were serious. 1 was funny. So Mr. Funny ReEvil hacker member, we're on to you. And we're just waiting on Ransomware Batman to find out who you are.
Clearly,
maybe they hit their quotas. Like once they hit their quotas, then they could kind of like ease up and
Well, the funny one has been less prevalent, so yeah, maybe he's low on his quota. So he's got 1 this week.
My theory is that he went on vacation. Serious One took over as his backup, and now Funny One is back with his wife and kids. And
I wonder if he went on vacation to Treehouse Hotels.
He might have. Yeah. So, oh crap, this place.
So ReEvil, we're on to you. There's at least 2 of you posting on the Happy blog, and one of you is funny. The other one's not trying hard enough.
The other one's all business, man.
ReEvil was Quanta last week, wasn't it?
Were they?
Have to keep up. There's so many of these gangs.
Oh, no.
And there's so many of these.
Dude, we follow like 30 ransomwares on Hack Notice.
Because maybe they did get that payout.
Could be. Who hacked Apple or the Apple third party?
I think that was
Right
one.
now. It was ReEvil.
Was it ReEvil?
Yeah,
Really?
and there was
They were all business on that one.
Yeah, they were following reports that said that their post was taken down.
Mhm.
So, obviously there was no public facing messages that said Apple happily paid 50 million to get rid of this situation.
That's why they release it on the Happy blog, because once you pay, it disappears. And that's why you use Hack Notice, because we always have it forever
And ever.
Final thoughts on Treehouse Hotels?
Yeah, I hope you didn't go to Treehouse Hotels to have an affair, because data's out there now.
Oof, dark shoe, dark.
These are small, soft targets that hold a lot of damaging data. So even though they are small organizations, they have to protect that data.
Well,
it's always an afterthought in the process, right? If you think about yourself setting up a hotel, what's your first thought? Is like, I got to get it built, I got to get it designed, I got to have the right staff, I got to do my ads. And now you have people coming in, giving you their PII and trusting you, but the security is an afterthought.
Yep.
Always. But it's got to be core to the business process.
Yep. Got to find the right yoga teacher.
Well, and you think about who stays at Treehouse. It looked like a luxury hotel in London. So you're going to have targeted people, high net worth individuals in that data set, just guaranteed. And if you're a high net worth individual and you're not taking a proactive hand in protecting your digital identity, you're in for a bad time.
Especially if you're having an affair. And that divorce is going to cost you.
Yeah, maybe don't go on affair websites as well.
Moving on to topic number 5, DC Police Department hit by apparent extortion attack. The Washington, D.C. Police Department said Monday that its computer network was breached and a Russian-speaking ransomware syndicate claimed to have stolen sensitive data, including on informants that it threatened to share with local criminal gangs unless police paid an unspecified ransom.
A Russian-speaking ransomware syndicate.
It's very
Oh
specific.
no!
It
How
colored me
will we
surprised.
ever narrow it down?
Wow,
Well,
a lot of
that's-
snitches are about to get made.
There's a lot of levels to this story. I'm just kind of interested to see what you guys think in terms of when they point out Russian-speaking ransomware syndicate. What is it? They come to mind like 3, 4?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Is there a limit? Does the limit exist?
I mean, I'd go with 30, 30 to 50 ransomware syndicates that are Russian speaking. I don't know, Miguel, you deal with the Russians a lot. How many Russian syndicates do you think there are?
Well, at least 50. I mean, there are a lot.
So this story is interesting because it is a police department and police departments do have sensitive data. One thing we learned from Blue Leaks is who was under observation. And that is potentially as damaging, if not more, to ongoing investigations because your CI is fucked, right? We can all agree on that. But who's currently under investigation? Like that's a defense attorney's wet dream.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of one-way tickets from Washington, D.C. to places like Missouri, Ohio, Wyoming.
Omaha, Nebraska,
Station.
working at a Cinnabon.
Yeah, or Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. Love Cracker Barrel.
Better call Saul.
They have just screwed up with a lot of internal investigations here. Like everything that Washington, D.C. police is investigating right now and potentially could trickle up to the federal level is screwed.
I mean, you had the insurrection and the Capitol takeover. They're actively investigating that. I'm sure there's a whole lot of information that they don't want to come out from that. And I'm sure the DC police is involved.
Yep.
I had one kind of thought. If the ransom is high, it's unspecified. If it's super high, where does the police department get this money to pay it?
Taxpayers. It always fucks over the taxpayers. Whenever we list any municipality, any city or state, you know who pays it? Taxpayers. They just take out new bonds for it.
Yeah, and the problem is again that they exist at a really critical nexus of really sensitive data that affects people's lives, and also unfortunately, Fed and SLED is not well known for their forward thinkingness when it comes to upping their security plans, programs, and infrastructure.
Well, and city governments too. You think city governments have taken on a more involved role? That just makes them more of a target, right? You've got a city police department that's obviously going to be involved in federal level investigations. I mean, Matt Gaetz is being investigated. He's in DC often. I guarantee the DC police are involved in some way.
Allegedly.
What are we alleging again on Matt Gaetz?
I don't know.
That he's in DC.
At this point, if I was Matt Gaetz, I would say allegedly to everything.
Yeah, I heard the DA is going to give him exactly what he wants. 8 to 12.
And good times.
This has been an episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches. If you liked what you saw today, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you saw today, fight those people. If you have a bourbon or a breach you'd like us to cover, you can contact us at contact@hacknitus.com. Until next time.